What's going on YouTube? This is Ken from Ken's How-Tos and Reviews. Today I'm going to show you how to wax or re-wax a wax canvas hat. And I also have a Barbour hooded attachment that goes on a Badal or a Beaufort wax canvas jacket. Both of these need a little re-waxing. You can see where I started a little bit on the bill, but this one is in need of desperate attention. You can tell when you need to re-wax. You can start to see the true underlying color of the canvas, and it just doesn't repel water as good. So I'll kind of put this to the side for a second, but I'll show you. I use a wax bar from Amazon. This is called Otter Wax. And I used to use, I told the story in another video, but I used to use the Barbour can of wax that you have to heat up and then use a sponge to apply. And the problem with that is if you don't have a warm room or a heater or a heated room, you can dip your sponge in that heated wax, but then when you apply it to whatever you're applying it to, it just doesn't, it immediately cools down and gets sticky. And then, so I found that the bar works best. So I'll kind of show you what I do to re-wax some of my stuff. I give it a good coating, and I'll do the build just to kind of show you, just to save us some time. But you coat it really good. You get as much wax on there as possible. My motto is just go crazy with it. You know, it doesn't have to be a lot. You know, just do it for your preference. If you want a lot, put a lot. If you don't want to put a lot, just use your judgment. So there's kind of what it looks like. It kind of looks like a mess at first, but then you take your heat gun. I've got a Wagner heat gun here. I'm gonna put this heat gun on the lowest setting, because this guy it gets hot. So you can either leave your heat gun like this and run the bill over it like that. What I like to do is I like to hold my heat gun and I like to just run it lightly. I'll show you up close. You can see some of the pieces of wax, and you'll be able to see that wax start melting. So I'll get the hat or whatever you're applying it to nice and warm. And you can do it in sections if it's a big garment. But you can get that wax nice and warm. I'm going to leave my heat gun on, put it to the side, and then I'm just going to rub that wet wax into the hat. I'm going to rub it all over, smoothing it in. Also, make sure you're doing this in a well-ventilated area. These heat guns can get hot. Blow dryers, whatever you're using, can get pretty warm. So I rub it with my hand. If you have a sponge, you can use that as well. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really stick to your hands too much. You can wash them off with warm water. But you can see it's rubbed in real nice. And then you can give it a final heat there, just to settle it in real nice, to give it a nice shine. I'm just doing this first section right here. If you want to go at it again and make it real even, you can do that. I think I've got that pretty good. Smooth it out, and I'll give it one final heat. Just to get it nice and even. And there we go. So this section is done. Uh-oh, just made a fingerprint. So if you want it to get nice and even, give it one last heat and then sit it in a cool place, and it will look pretty even. You can see this side is kind of raw and unfinished. This side is complete. So we'll put that to the side. And then we have our hood. And this is pretty darn easy. It's just the same thing as you do with the hat. Just spread it out as much as possible, as much as you want, in different sections if you'd like. You can do the whole thing at once. I prefer to do it in sections. It's just a little bit easier. So I've got a little bit on there. You can see it's pretty raw and unfinished. So take our heat gun on the lowest setting. Melt some of that wax. Be sure not to burn your fabric. Once you melt it, go ahead and start rubbing it in. Rub it in good to the fabric. Make sure it gets in there, soaks in. And I'll do this section a couple times because this is a hood. It needs to be pretty waterproof. So once you kind of rub it in, give it a final heat. Now I have this heat gun on a setting that is not going to burn me, so that's why I'm holding this like this. Be sure and take all safety precautions. Use glasses, gloves if you need it, a nice workbench in a well ventilated area. Just be safe. Use common sense. So there we go. There's one little section. I'm going to heat one last time, and then I'm going to put it to the side and let it cool down. So that's the hood. You can see the difference between the freshly waxed portion and the section that needs to be waxed. So big difference there. Here's our hat. It's been cooled down. Unfinished, finished. Cool. If you like what you see, feel free to comment, like, subscribe, and tell me how you wax your garments, and we'll see you next time.